It's Tim, Pickup Truck Plus SUV Talk, and today, take a little Sunday cruise on a Monday. Whoops, got my days mixed up. We have a 44-foot long camper that weighs about 15,000 pounds. It's a fifth wheel camper. I have hooked up to this 2024 Chevy Silverado 3500. It's the 1-ton single rear wheel, crew cab setup, LTZ trim, and a Duramax diesel underneath the hood. Let's go ahead and get that, ramp it up. Whoa! Speed increase. We're at 50. We're at 60. We're gonna get up to 70 miles an hour with this camper, truck, and camper combo, and boom, there we are. Actually, it's pretty quiet, which is a pro and con for a lot of diesel guys. Anyways, in this video, let's go ahead and talk about some of the features of this truck. I'm gonna show you some cool stuff with the cameras going on. There's a big change for camper towers this year, for gooseneck towers, for bumper, anybody towing. Everybody even freaking driving. There's a huge change heavy duty trucks. I'll put that on the screen here in a little bit. We'll talk more about that. I'll go ahead and walk you around the exterior. We'll do a little interior. I'll tell you the huge change, and then I'll tell you the fuel economy numbers I got laden, which means I have the camper, and unlading, which means I didn't have the camper. That's how the stuff works. I'm gonna do a 50 mile an hour, screw that. I'm gonna do a 50-mile test with this camper and give you some fuel economy numbers based on the screen and based on a new computer algorithm that's built into the towing part of the menu system. It actually breaks down your fuel economy with just towing. That's pretty cool. For those wondering on the click-to-click on for the fuel, like you would use old school, write down your numbers, do your math, I have found with most GM trucks, and the ones I actually own one for the channel this year. I bought one. I had a Ford, I have a Tundra, now I have a Chevy Silverado. I find that's really close. Numbers are like a half-mile gallon difference. It's not really anything we do anymore as far as click-to-click and subtraction. The computer's pretty savvy these days. But like I said, I'm gonna head down the road. Like I said, I'm gonna go about 50 miles in total, and then I'll just put a bunch of footage on the screen. We'll talk about how this thing tows, and we'll talk about how I feel behind the wheel. A few quick minor housekeeping details. I'm gonna do about 70. I'm gonna do some passing. I'm gonna simulate some passing here after a while to see how it do if they're gonna have to pass like a semi-truck or something like that. I also want to tell you it is about 90 degrees here in Wyoming. We have very little crosswind. It's kind of shocking. The wind's not blowing in Wyoming. I know, put it on a calendar because it doesn't happen very often. And so we have probably the most ideal conditions I can possibly find to do a towing test with this camper because, yeah, that is actually shocking. Knock on wood, I got lucky. There you go. All right, let's go ahead and get to the rest of this video and talk more about this 2024 Chevy Silverado 3500 single wheel crew cab Duramax LTZ. Man, that's a mouthful for $83,000. Okay, let's take a moment and check out what I'm towing and what the truck is. So this is the 2024 Chevy Silverado. It's LTZ trim, so you don't have quite all the finishes and the leather and things that you would like to know. High Country. High Country, Tim. Wrong brand. High Country. So we still have some nice features, some nice styling here. I really like how this looks, kind of a marble look. We have the dual zone AC controls at this point, heat as well. Heated seats, cooled seats, like that, sync as well. These exhaust brakes on. I have the different assists plus the tailgate down button, traction control. There's your big menu screen. It's nice, it does the whole thing. You can split it over here too. So you can kind of go through different maps and you can do lights and you do I really like the clock. What's cool about the towing is you can do a light test from inside the cabin. You set up tires, lights, cameras, action, not quite. Maintenance, you can set up maintenance reminders for your trailer. You have a checklist of things you can go through to make sure your trailer's on spot. I have 8 miles per gallon, 53 miles driven. It's interesting, it shows you the fuel economy for only the trailer. Pretty cool. It has a gross combined weight alert that's on. Basically, when the truck is really struggling to haul or to tow something, it'll alert you that you're overloaded. Yes, the towing police are out. I do have the digital rear mirror here as well. Normal mirror, rear mirror, useless with having the camper. But it is nice when you're driving. I really like that actually at night. At night it cuts down the glare. It's really a nice feature. I have the little small glove box here, glove box there, and seating there. Again, crew cab setup of this LTZ. I should look and see what the exterior color is. So when I hop out, I can tell you all what the exterior color is. Sterling gray metallic on the outside, jet black on the interior. I have a Bose system on this, which is kind of unheard of for LTZ. Bose system, I have the steps that are deployable, that are electronic. Trailing information. So GVWR of 12,100 pounds, gross combined weight rating of 30,000 pounds. I have a curb weight of 8,340 pounds, a starter curb weight. Max payload 3,760 pounds. I can do a goose deck trailer 21,600 pounds, same as like a fifth wheel. Measure trailer is 20,000 pounds. Max tongue weight's 20,000 pounds there as well. You can see the tires, 20-inch tires, and there's your details there. And so we'll get out. I do have the towing mirrors. These are extended. You can see the little notch here. They go back to here. I have the 1 ton there, nice, well, 3,500 heavy duty, kind of stands out, nice little chrome. 20-inch wheels. There's Duramax. There it is, purring. A little bow tie there as well. I have the insert for more air. Scoop, the head scoop. There is your bug-covered front of this truck. There is no way I can drive this truck in the summer without getting any sort of bug covering on it. Sorry, not gonna happen. I have the black tow hooks, chrome there as well. The nice little setup for the lights there too. And then we have along the sides, this is really handy. You'll see some B-roll of us attaching this trailer, and you'll see the gentleman who's my cousin who hops in here and goes over easily to hook up the fifth wheel without having to crawl on his belly and do something weird on the truck, because the truck is actually taller. This is one of my complaints with the 1 tons, is they've gotten so tall, and you see this camper's not any taller, and I just and do my knuckle. That's not a whole lot of room. And so they've made these trucks taller, which is a little unfortunate because campers haven't got that much taller, and so that's what's going on there. The door opened as I was driving, so I pulled over to adjust this door and see if I can't get it. I'll see if I can't get that in there a little bit better and get that to lock. Okay, I'm working on that. This is a 44-foot, 15,000 pound trailer, which I told you about, and I'll come out a little bit here. I'll keep zooming out. And this is me walking. I'm zooming as I'm walking. Yeah, so that's how that setup looks. Let me get around the front, give you the full view of this, because I just remembered the sticker of the details on that side. Whoops. Okay, so there is your full view of 44 foot, 15,000 pounds with the 1 ton. Kind of looks, it looks nice. I know why they made that truck a little bit taller in the cab, because it kind of flows together with that, but she be tall, folks. She be really tall. Around here, we have information going to be right here. We have the Keystone RV Company. We're going to have the unleaded vehicle weight, 13.9. We're saying 15,000. He's got some stuff in here. That's what we're guessing. The weight rating there, GVWR 16.5. There are all your details. Payload inside the vehicle is 2,500. Stupid loud semi. 2,532 pounds we can have inside the camper. So that's why your GVW, your gross vehicle weight rating is a little bit more than your unloaded. Or people call it your dry weight versus your wet weight. Whatever terminology you need, that's what you got. So we have the dual axles right there. Boom, boom. We have the little stuff going on there. And then we'll come around the back. And you can see the whole thing. There is the full rig. Which, by the way, that's a long way to the top. Yeehaw! Okay, real quick, forgot 2 things. First, engine block heater right here for the diesel. This is nice on the outside. Plug in your diesel when it's below 0 or around 0. Starts up nice, a lot easier, and the cabin's warmer. And with 0, well, that's a big deal. All right, so then also power adjustable seats here too. Auto 4-wheel drive, and one of the controversial things GM's done is they don't have adjustable pedals anymore. Yeah, that's been a bit of a controversy. Ford Super Duty has it. Just saying. All right, I'm at the turnaround spot. Nice little rest area outside of Guernsey, Wyoming, if you know the location. And had a perfect pull through and flip around, which with a camper making a U-turn is not ideal. So we're heading back to drop the trailer back, camper back off. I've done 31 miles. It shows 9.1 miles per gallon on my screen. And 178 degrees is the transmission temperature, which, by the way, I can show you with my other camera. So there are the deets, as my kids call them. But let's get on it. So I'm 34, 35. So let's say I gotta get around somebody, or I'm just doing a thing. Let's hammer it. Foot is to the floor, folks. Hammer down, eastbound down, loaded up and trucking. My wife says I really shouldn't sing in my videos, and Well, maybe she's right. And we're probably about 70, right about there. Yeah, so nice acceleration off the line. And stopping, it does really well. Stops in nice concise, and not like my back end's not whipping around. Plenty of power. And then I'm gonna get around this hill and we'll talk about a little bit more passing power. I do want to talk a little bit about the single rear wheel as my back end is like doing this a little bit. So should you do a single rear wheel or a dually? Well, I will tell you that dualies are really nice for towing campers like this. It just makes it much more stable towing situation than it would be a single rear wheel. You just have that additional rubber on the outside that feels more planted. And yeah, the wind is blowing up here in Guernsey, and I can feel my back end moving around a little bit, which I don't like that one. No, on that deal. But oh well, I'm not driving this all over the place today, so not a big deal. I'm gonna guess it's probably blowing 15, 20 out here. So yeah, a lot of people, if they're camping, you're hauling a camper out west, you're doing some stuff out west, or this is what you want to do with your life, and you want to do a lot of towing, a lot of camping, the dually is really, well, it's where it's at. That's the reason why they sell it, because it does make quite a bit of difference for this stuff, where you kind of, oh my gosh, I'm white knuckling. Luckily I've towed enough that I'm not that concerned. So yeah, so now it's back down to 8.8. Oh, elevation. I know gearing's at about 4,000 feet. I'm gonna think I will look up my screen. I can do it right now. I can do it with the compass app. As soon as I'm slow down a little bit, because I want to make sure that compass. By the way, I just learned this trick. We are at 4350. So only up about 400 feet from the home location. So yeah, not much elevation change going on, causing those concerns. Now, one thing I'll show you on the screen, which is pretty darn cool, and this is the big deal. Sit down, grab a beer, pop top, don't hit pause. The big deal is the cameras now stay on the whole time. What do I mean? The infotainment screen will now display the cameras on the whole time. This was a change that happened just recently. I just actually learned about this last week in Michigan. I was doing the Ford Super Duty, and apparently the new Tacoma has it as well, as the fan pointed out to me, that the cameras now stay on the whole time. You can switch to different views and go back and forth and show different things. There's one view as you're driving on Layden, looks like a video game, which is kind of interesting. But so yeah, the cameras stay on the whole time. Ford had said to me that it's a NHTSA waiver, which is the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration, that the trucks have gotten a waiver because they argued that it actually is safer to have the cameras on while you're driving than off as far as distraction goes. So in this case, I can sit here and go through the camera views, and I can look in the bed of the camper and in the bed of the truck, bed of the camper, look in the bed of the truck and see if the camper is still attached while I'm driving, make sure there's no problems, concerns. What's also cool is a lot of these systems, and I believe this is got the plus button, I can zoom in, zoom out. A lot of these systems actually allow you to do an auxiliary camera too. So if you think about this, if you're hauling like livestock, or you're hauling a sports car or something, and you just want to check it out occasionally, you can actually mount a camera inside of the trailer and press a button here on the screen, and just kind of, yeah, a little peace of mind. You know, I mean, is it a deal breaker? Is it the be-all, end-all? You're going to buy this truck over other trucks because you can do this and you need to upgrade your truck? Probably not, but that's kind of a darn nice thing to have. And I would think in this case, especially with the camper, I would probably put a camera inside the kitchen area just to make sure all the doors are closed, make sure nothing opens up, my fridge door isn't popping open, all my stuff comes flying out. Just a little more peace of mind. But a lot of guys are also putting a camera on the rear of the camper, and so it allows them to see behind the camper and to see what's going on for that kind of aspect. And yeah, I've seen the fuel economy fluctuate from 8.5 to now 9.5, depending what I'm doing, depending what the speed. So if I were to, I'm doing 70. Let's see, we'll get this car going by me. No getting pulled over on press drives. That's what I decided. No video is worth the ticket. And we'll see if I can. I don't know if I'm going to simulate this too much. What's going on? That's not a police officer, so we're going to put the pedal down a little bit. So I'm 70. And I'm at 80. So yeah, not a lot of passing speed there. This is, and not that you would, right? So with the camper and with everything attached, it's not like you're going to do, especially a 44-foot, 15,000-pound camper. It's not you're going to go around the vehicle and pass like semis really fast. I will say, unladen, it does get up pretty decent as far as speed goes without the camper attached. This has the 342 rear axle ratio, which engineers tell me they've been able to go down in rear axle ratio, not have such a big number in the back as far as a stiff rear end with a bigger number, because they've had more multi-speed transmissions. And I've had people show it to me, the math, and I've had engineers lay out the math to me. I'm not a math guy, so you guys can Google that and find it elsewhere. But if you do the ratios of transmission shifting, and there's a little math involved, it actually, the numbers work out the same as a larger rear end, like a 410, the 430s used to be. And so things are changing there as well. Yeah, that's my thoughts on that. All right, so let's talk a few more details that impact me on the channel. I talk about all the time. Seat comfort. That's always a big deal with Chevy vehicles to me. I don't know why certain Chevy vehicles seem like they're sitting on a piece of rock. This one, I don't know. I mean, the materials feel soft at first blush. When you grab them, they feel like quite a bit of cushion. I just have a spot in my hip that just hits me wrong. It's kind of underneath the butt cheek, and so it's just something about GM vehicles with that. Even my Chevy Silverado that has the Duramax that I bought for the channel, it's a high country. I bought the higher trim level because I believe the higher trim level, the way the leather is in that higher trim level, it just makes it a little more comfortable. This LTZ doesn't have the same quality leather as in the high country. I mean, I can tell by just looking at it and feeling it, and so it's okay. It gets a C. Used to be a D, gets a C. It's not an A by any stretch of imagination. I tend to like Ram seats a little bit better, and Ford even a little bit better. I'd say Ram, Ford, and Chevy kind of, and that's in my view. GMC is better as well when you get the higher trim level, which most people who buy a GMC get the higher trim level. Fun factoid of the day for you there, folks. So, yeah, like I said, overall, let's kind of wrap this up because I'm going to stop blubbering. I think overall, it's a pretty confident towing rig, right? As you'd expect. I'm not at max capacity. I'm towing something that's really reasonable. I'm towing something a camper you guys would take up towing. I would do the dually if it was me, if I was going to purchase this truck, just for the bit more peace of mind towing the camper. But again, you have more wheels, you have more tires, you have more stuff to maintain. Going back and forth. $83,000 for this truck. I know there's a lot of people going to be still mad about that price, $83,000, and I can understand it, but you know, in today's market, I don't know that's that bad. I'll just say that. You take me into task in the comments, I know you will, but trucks are expensive. Everything's gotten more expensive. The price of milk's gotten more expensive. Golf balls have gotten more expensive. Everything's more expensive. And I don't know that 83 is that outlandish in today's market with inflation. Capiche? Capiche. And especially with the Duramax diesel, because typically the Duramax, in this case as well, it's like $10,000 more for that diesel. That's a lot of money for a diesel. Yeah. So, all right, that's my thoughts on these 2024 Chevy Silverado 3/4 ton, 1 ton truck. Yeah, pretty big fan of it. I think, again, for a workhorse and for the tech inside, the cameras, fuel economy is really not that bad in my view, towing this big of a camper. The power delivery of the Duramax is exceptional, and overall, easy to see with the mirrors. Yeah. Gosh darn it. I need to complain about something. Oh, no panoramic moonroof. There we go. So one thing, and people love those or hate those. It's controversial. One thing I don't understand why Chevy just is the only brand in the marketplace that doesn't even offer it. Not that customers always want it, but just offer it. Why give customers? Why tell them no? They want to spend the money on it. Give them the choice. Capiche? Capiche. All right. For more chick videos over here, website down below as well, pickuptrucktalk.com. As always, thanks for watching. I will see you down the road.